Today we're going to have a conversation about Black people in the future. And namely, I wanted to focus on actor Joe Morton. Joe Morton is someone you would more likely know from the show Scandal. He was the head of the secret organization, the Shadow Network, that actually controlled the United States and most of the world. I had an incurable crush on this man. I like that sort of brown skin, broad face feature on a man. And he just has such kind eyes and such like well proportioned features. I was just always so in love with his face. But I didn't realize also why I was so attracted to him, because no matter what project he was in, he always seemed to be a survivor, or he seemed to embody Black love or Black intelligence or Black avant-garde existence. What I like so much about Joe Morton is because he embodied everything most shows did not exhibit in Black people. I remember seeing Joe Morton in the film Brother from Another Planet. My father went to film school and he was a film buff. I was raised on blaxploitation films. But there was one film he showed me was Brother from Another Planet. And I thought this film was kind of strange. It was this brother with sort of nattic hair who fell from outer space. He didn't speak, and he's trying to navigate America. And it's so funny, now that I think back on this film, now that I'm doing this revisit of the film Brother from Another Planet, it really reminds me of Aaliyah's song. I think her name is Aaliyah Setfield. Earth is ghetto, who I want to leave, because of the things that happened to him in that movie. But one of the things I also loved about Joe Morton is the fact that I'm not sure if he chose it, or because sometimes one role you kind of get typecast and you sort of move through your career in that way. He was always a brother who survived the future. He designed the future. He had a certain agency in those characters that I thought was completely uncharacteristic of most African American characters. It was always this thing of they're trying to hold up their race, which I'm not saying it's a terrible narrative, but it's not one that I necessarily align with specifically. There was a person who was just, his character seemed to embody an individual who was unapologetic about their existence. And that's something that I identified with as an African American woman. Because I saw a Black person with agency. I saw a Black person who was escaping. I saw a Black person escaping injustice. And then as he moved on in his career, I saw him in the famous Terminator. Everyone knows Terminator because this is a famous film. He created the technology that unfortunately was the underpinning of our future. Just seeing that image was very powerful and very profound for me as a creator, and also as a woman growing up into my adulthood. So then we move on to Scandal. The brother who is actually the true puppeteer of our country. That character had one of the more profound impacts on me, because it was one of those things that he understood the aegis of race, but he just pushed her beyond that. He was just like, you don't let these people limit